Hey guys, what's going on? And welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. Today we are going to be finishing off the month of December. So we've got 3 games coming your way today. Burnley, following that is going to be Arsenal, and then the final game is against Brighton away. And then of course we move into January where the transfer window opens and we can start to make some pre-contract signings happen. So we'll see what goes on in the next episode for that, but we've also got a squad report where I'll show you how some players are progressing. We'll take a look at their, growth and things like that. But I've actually got to show you something before we start. The game in hands that were in there have now been played, so we are no longer top of the Premier League because Manchester United are a point ahead of us now after the game in hands have been played. Of course, we skipped through to this game against Burnley, and Man United have managed to win. So they're top, we're second, City in third, Spurs in fourth. Chelsea and Liverpool now make up the top 6. So we're back to a more normal sort of looking top 6, barring us, of course, in there. But to be fair, we're actually doing pretty well at the moment. Scored the most goals in the league at this point as well. So you can't really complain. Joshua King and Callum Wilson are the ones who are seeming to be getting most of the goals anyway for us. But I've got one thing to mention before we jump into the Burnley game, and it's a little bit of advice. If you use the edit player section in career mode usually, don't use it at the moment because it's broken. I tried to do it off camera. I tried to change Mark Dillon so he had actual boots on, and a couple of other academy players that have come through. But when you go into it, for some bizarre reason, it edits their position. So I don't know why that is, but I'm just going to throw this out there. If any of you are going to be using edit player, make sure that if you do, you've either saved your game beforehand or you just don't use it because at the moment it's broke. Just another thing in career mode again that the EA haven't managed to put into the game properly. So, I don't know. But yeah, don't use it. It's broken at the moment. No idea when it's going to be fixed. So at the moment, we're just going to have to deal with Mark Dillon having generated boots like every single academy player has. So it's unfortunate, but what can we do? And here we are then for the first game of today. I've switched around the Burnley team to a stronger 11 than what they were playing previously. Pope, Taylor, Elizondo, Ben Mee and Hugo Mayo as a back 4. Aaron Lennon, Drinkwater, Westwood and Goodmunson in the midfield with Ashley Barnes and Kasper Dolberg up front. I'm quite surprised to see Dolberg in there. No Chris Wood though, so I don't know where Chris Wood's gone. Actually, I'll show you the bench while we're at it as well. But yeah, I found that quite interesting to see that Chris Wood wasn't actually in the Burnley team. You can see here, Defoe has got a red card. As I'm scrolling up, you can kind of see on the bench, Joe Hart, Long, Bardsley, Cork, Hendrick, Ponce, and Rodriguez. I don't really think there's anybody else I can throw into that starting 11 to make it any stronger. So that's what we're going to go with. Without further ado, our first game of today comes at the Vitality Stadium. Bournemouth taking on Burnley, looking for 3 points. That will hopefully take us back to the Premier League, top of the Premier League, I should say. This first half has been abysmal here. Neither side able to get a chance yet in the game as Ashley Barnes is going to take it past Ake. Cook now has some defending to do against Dolberg. Is this the first chance of the game? Ball in. Jack Stacey heads it away and says no. And that's pretty much been what it's been like in this first half. But Callum Wilson's ball up towards King. And he's got the pace there to get it as well. King has got Ryan Fraser to his left. He's given him it, but he's sent him wide. I don't know what on earth we've just done here. But we have royally messed that up. Why is Ryan Fraser running the same way as Josh King? Oh my goodness me. That sums up our first half, honestly. Nothing we've tried to do has worked. At the break, it's 0-0. And honestly, this has 0-0 written all over it. Here is Wilson. Now going to find Maddison, the substitute, as he finds Fraser. Fraser's in, looking for the first goal. Ryan Fraser, and he's got it. It was mistimed, but it's in the back of the net. As where on earth is Ryan Fraser going? Hello? He's just ran through the... I mean, that's not normal, but we'll take it anyway. I mistimed it, but Ryan Fraser's got the opening goal of the game. It's a scrappy one at that, but I honestly don't care. If there's a little bit of edit in there, it's because I started coughing when I was talking through the goal, so I apologise for that, but I will, if I remember to, I'll have edited it out. So there's a little bit of a jump cut, that's why. Excuse me. Ryan Fraser has scored. And we lead the game, but it's just been a strange game all round. We've not performed, and then all of a sudden, Ryan Fraser's running through objects. So I don't really know what's going on at this point. Oh, what a tackle from Callum Wilson. And now Abraham has the opportunity to make it 2-0. And he's going to do just that with quite a brilliant finish indeed. Unbelievable work, though, from Callum Wilson as he wins back possession on the slide tackle. Burnley caught deep in their own half. You can't have the ball here and expect to get away with it when you've got a striker like Callum Wilson who presses you all the way. But that finish from Tammy Abraham is quality. Look at this. Finesses it into that top corner. No chance at all for Nick Pope. Entering the last 10 minutes of the game now as Phillips might not get there. And Westwood's shot going to come in. Butland makes the save, and that's Burnley's first chance in this game. And it's taken 80 minutes to find it. It's Ashley Westwood, and I think it might have even been maybe going into the side netting. But Jack Butland has taken no chances with it. A corner ball now then for them as they bring off Ashley Barnes for Jay Rodriguez, and Butland comes out again to collect that. We're just counting down the clock at this point, but there might still be one more chance in this game for us as Phillips will drive forward. Now find Madison. Madison to Abraham. Abraham's got Wilson making a move, and there he is. Counter-attacker dreams maybe if Wilson can finish it. Callum Wilson! Nick Pope is there, and it will not be the third goal for Bournemouth. And I think we should have scored. I've got to give credit where it's due to Nick Pope. It was a good save, but we should be finishing that off with Callum Wilson. As Jack Cox ball in towards the box is going to be easily dealt with by Ake. Madison forces it on again towards Fraser. Fraser trying to find Abraham. It's not the best first touch in the world I've ever seen, and we lose possession. Added time now for us as Kelly's ball into the feet of Wilson is found. Now Abraham again. As Tammy Abraham, good feet. Wilson's in again. Surely this time for Callum Wilson. And it is. It's Bournemouth 3, Burnley 0. Callum Wilson on the score sheet. Should have scored moments before this, but some great work from Tammy Abraham. Sets him through. And there is the finish you were looking for. We've got the 3 points. We've got a 3-0 win. And to say the game was poor, to come away with a 3-0 win, you can't complain at that. It's just the way we conducted ourselves in that first half. We didn't really showcase much football quality at all. So I can be happy with the result, but we definitely needed to work on that first half because it was not good. Wilson gets his 6th goal of the season. He's still quite a way behind Joshua King at the moment. But it's good to see him in the goals. He got a fair few last episode as well. That strike against Liverpool springs to mind. That was a fantastic goal. So he's starting to find some more goals for us, and hopefully he can continue that. But anyway, first game done and dusted. Time for our interview. We've just got our first question then from the reporter about it being a competitive match. I'm going to say no challenge because it was not much of a challenge for us at all. You might need to raise your expectations of us. We are unstoppable. It was clear that from the off. I don't think that's what I was trying to say, but anyway, comfortable win after 3 goals scored by us. Do you think that you could have the game could have gone either way? And I did actually see a post somewhere about this, talking about the relevance of the questions, because I mentioned it last episode when we won 3-0. They said, do you think the game could go either way? And then we beat Liverpool 2-0, and they turned around and said that that was a convincing win. So again, you know, we've won 3-0. It couldn't have really gone either way in that one. Time to focus on our next match, I'll say. And then finally, Elizondo is one of the best players of the opposition today. We scored 3 goals yet again. Going back to that relevance of the question, it's not really, is it? Because we scored 3. So, yeah, again, we just played our game. So, I'm not the only one to say that. I did see a post online about the relevance of those questions. Maybe EA will talk about it at a later date and maybe update it. But it definitely needs looking at because there is some weird questions that do come to you. So, yeah, it needs a little bit of work, I think. Our next game comes against Arsenal, who are currently sat 9th in the Premier League. We've also got a pre-match press conference to attend, so we're going to go ahead and do that. And then, of course, get ourselves into this game. I might need to change around the Arsenal team to make sure it's the strongest, because I have a feeling, again, they will have played at numerous academy players in their team. But anyway, so Abraham is in good form. Will we see more of him today? It's a hard one, because who do you drop? You know, you got King, you got Wilson. I want to start Abraham, and he did score in that last game, a really good goal as well. But, yeah, it's a difficult one because of the fact that those two, who I mentioned just before, are performing the way they are. So I'm going to say I'm looking after all players in the squad and their desire to play. And then the next question, in your last encounter, Arsenal managed to defend well against your attacks. Will you manage to get a victory today? We're focused on playing well. At this point, we are focused on giving this match a solid performance. The end result will be a direct consequence of this. Doesn't always work out that way in football, though. You can play well and still lose. And Mr. Wood, that's a good little line. In your opinion, is there any chance that Arsenal will win the match against your team? Obviously, being an Arsenal fan, I'm in a bit of an interesting situation here. But I'm going to say there is a possibility, there is a good chance that we will win. There's a possibility. At the end of the day, every game that you go into, there's a possibility to win or lose it. So That makes sense as an answer. And especially with the way that Arsenal are performing down in 9th place, people would have penciled us to be the favourites, but their team is still probably quite good. So, yeah, it's going to be a tricky game, this. So, this is what we are presented with. So, I'm definitely going to have to change this around, but I'll be back in a second once we've made the changes. And this is what we've managed to come up with. So, Leno in goal, Tierney, David Luiz, Socrates, Chambers at the back, Pepe, Torreira, Guendouzi and Çalhanoğlu in a midfield 4 with Ozil in front of them and Aubameyang up front. On the bench, Martinez, Mustafi, Holding, Xhaka, Ceballos. Mkhitaryan's not even at the club anymore, so we'll swap him out for Martinelli because he's, of course, going out on loan as Mkhitaryan. And Lacazette, but Lacazette, as you can see, isn't quite fully fit. Otherwise, I might have started him. Arsenal's team is looking very bare at the moment. Quite a few players that aren't there. Of course, they sold Hector Bellerin, so he's not here anymore. So that means it's Chambers or it is Maitland-Niles at right back. And Maitland-Niles, again, is having a few fitness issues. So quite surprised to see Arsenal's team in the state that it currently is, because there isn't that many great players in that team, to be honest. It's not a team that I'm looking at and thinking to myself, like, I actually fear that much. The only ones that I'm looking at thinking can actually cause us problems: Aubameyang, of course, Pepe, very fast, and at a push, maybe Guendouzi. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is going to be an easier game than I thought, but then again, I'm saying this now. Watch us get slapped in this one. Here we go then, game number 2, again, at home. And as you can see, our team on the left unchanged, so Abraham sadly will not get into the team. But he's on the bench again if we want to call him in, so we can do that, but let's get into it. Here is Pepe for Arsenal, one of the players I highlighted before we kicked off, but Ryan Fraser just as quick. And he gets back well to stop him. Phillips is ball in towards the feet of Josh King. King through for Wilson. Going to send him wide, but Wilson should have it. Pulls it back towards Lewis Cook. And it's blocked well in the box from Arsenal because that was a chance indeed. Very, very good defending. And now Aubameyang up against Ake. And Ake makes the tackle happen. Great defending. Stacey gets us back on the front foot. Up towards Lewis Cook, who had that chance a minute ago. Wilson and King combine again. Arsenal struggling at the moment to get out. Lovely ball through. King, though, just can't reach it. Very, very close. And this has been quite a fast start comparing it to the one against Burnley. Put it that way. Here is Lewis Cook. Now finds Brooks. It's all Bournemouth so far in this opening 24 minutes. Wilson with possession. Finds the ball up towards King. King allowed to turn as well. Got Callum Wilson making a move through the middle. Callum Wilson with a shot. Leno saves it. A decent save as well at that. But it's all Bournemouth here in this first half. We've just picked up ourselves a free kick deep in Arsenal's half. And also, a couple of changes going to start to come on here. We've got Maddison and Abraham both coming on. Josh King going off. And also Lewis Cook. And Arsenal have not offered anything going forward yet. I'm looking at this thinking maybe we take a shot on. I'm just not very good at free kicks. That's the only issue. So Maddison has just come on. Let's see what we can do with this one. I'm going to try and knuckleball it in towards that top corner. Can we make it happen, though? That's the question. Oh, my goodness me. I've put a lot behind that. Maddison. It's a good effort. Oh, it actually was a very good effort. That's probably the best free kick I've done so far in this FIFA. I'm not even going to lie to you guys. He gets it over the wall. Was it going in? It was. And Leno has made a fantastic save there. That's our second shot of the game. Although we've been the better team, we've been able to really create that many chances. I tell you what, that was a very good free kick from Maddison in the end. Like I said, I'm not very good at free kicks in this year's game, but nearly managed to score that one. Time ticking away here at the Vitality Stadium. Arsenal still in search for their first shot on target. They've yet to have one. We've only had two, though, and one of those coming from the free kick. So, yeah, very, very low chances in this one, but maybe there's one last opportunity for one of the two teams to win it as Calvin Phillips drives forward against Arsenal. Where's the pass, though? Wilson now makes the run. There's the pass. Callum Wilson, and he slides it past Bert Leno for Bournemouth's winning goal, surely. I said low chances in the game. This is the third shot on target in the entire match. And Callum Wilson has scored the winning goal. Lovely play from Calvin Phillips. Just made sure he kept his composure, waited for that run from Wilson. Tell you what, Wilson came from quite deep as well with that run. At that point, though, he's one-on-one with Bert Leno. He missed a one-on-one last game after a fantastic save from Nick Pope. And I was thinking, please don't do it again. And that time he keeps his composure and just slides it past the German for his 7th of the season. 2-2 as well for Callum Wilson, and what a time to get it. Last minute of the game now then, and that's going to do us from the Vitality Stadium. Bournemouth 1, Arsenal 0. We've managed to scrape the victory. having only 3 shots on target. Arsenal didn't even have a shot on target. It was that low a chance game. The service to Aubameyang was non-existent. I really, really fear for this Arsenal team moving forward. I've got no idea where they're going to finish this season, but it's looking like it could well be out of any European football. But for us, we continue forward, and it's another good win, but it's close. 7 minutes left of that game before we found it. Callum Wilson keeping his composure, but a win's a win. Calvin Phillips with a man-of-the-match display there in that game to pick up the 1-0 victory. Despite the win today, Abraham didn't hit the form expected of him. What does this mean for his future as a starting player? Well, he came off the bench, so yeah, I mean, I can't really be too harsh on him. I'm going to say ups and downs. We all have our ups and downs, and thankfully the team managed to pick up the slack today. I'm happy to see the players in the squad supporting each other. It speaks to the unity of this fantastic group of players. You managed to win a close match with a decisive goal in the second half. What do you think made the difference in today's game? Well, Calvin Phillips and Callum Wilson, they were the ones who made the difference today. I'm going to say it's time to focus on our next match because we weren't fantastic, but we got the job done, so that's all you can ask for. And finally, you managed to turn the tide and find the decisive goal. Given there wasn't much to split the two sides leading up, do you have any doubts you come away with the win? I trusted we'd give it our all. We were the stronger side. Yes, I had doubts. I trusted we'd give it our all. Regardless of the outcome, I always trust my players to give their all and fight to the end. That's exactly what they did out there today. Again, morale is looking good. So, 2 wins from 2 today. Neither one were fantastic in terms of the performance, but we got the 6 points, and that's all that we can ask for. As Callum Wilson celebrates alongside, I believe, Kelly and Fraser. But a lot of credit does have to go over to Calvin Phillips. A man-of-the-match display, got the assist as well. Manchester United without Tony Martial, which is going to be a big miss for them. So yeah, I'm quite happy with the way things are going at the moment. And Man United won again, so we're a point behind them still, and we're halfway through the season now. Our final game comes against Brighton today, and we've got another pre-match press conference to go through. Lerma is in good form. Will we see more of him today? The same question we got about Tammy Abraham in the last one. I might actually start Lerma, but then again, do I leave Lewis Cook out of the team? That could be what we do, because Calvin Phillips at the moment is playing pretty well. Rotation is key. Same thing I said about Abraham last time out. You were only up by 1 goal in the previous match. Looking into the perspective, what do you think of that goal, considering you're about to play against Brighton and Hove Albion, who are actually in a very impressive 5th place at the moment in the Premier League? So that close call motivates us. A win is a win, or the players will do well again. I'm going to say the win is a win. A goal is a goal. We'll do the same against Brighton and Hove Albion. And finally, a top half of the table finish is looking more and more likely as you continue to exceed expectations. Does your team have what it takes to keep this momentum going? It's our responsibility to try. I hope the whole squad can help us. Our momentum isn't dropping. We've got a clear goal in mind, and our momentum isn't letting up. Having a positive attitude is making all of this possible. Right then, Brighton in our final game. They're in 5th, so this might be more tough than we've first expected, especially away at their place. This is what we have managed to come up with. So, Ryan starts in goal. Zinchenko, Baluta, Lewis Dunk, Duffy, and Bernardo at the back. Bernardo's actually a left back, but can play right back. Campagna and Gross in the midfield, with Solly March, Neil Maupay, and Will Hughes on the right. On the left, on the right-hand side, you can see our team. We are missing Callum Wilson purely to fitness reasons. And then he said issues, which is a mix of reasons and issues. I couldn't really decide on what word I wanted to use there. But Maddison comes in, King moves up front, and also Lerma comes into midfield to partner Calvin Phillips with Harry Wilson on the right-hand side in ahead of David Brooks. Our final game is upon us. Can we make it 3 out of 3? We're about to find out as we travel over to the Amex Stadium to take on Brighton. And you may remember as well, the last 2 times that we have faced a 5-at-the-back formation, we lost both games. So if that's anything to go by, this could be quite an interesting one for us today. Maddison through for King already, as King's trying to get a shot away, unable to do that. Good tackle in the end stops him. Yeah, last time we faced a 5-at-the-back, the last 2 times, we lost both of them. Newcastle, I believe, and Wolves were the 2 games. So Brighton playing it as well. What is that going to happen against us? March now looking for a way forward. He's got the ball up towards Zinchenko, sends the cross in. Cook will head it out. Lerma sends it on. Kelly will flick it on to Phillips. Very, very long way of doing that, but we managed to get it out. Here is Harry Wilson driving at Brighton. Wilson continues into the area, pulling it back for Lerma. 1-0 Bournemouth. Can we break the 5-at-the-back curse? Get in. We took the lead, though, against Newcastle in that game and ended up losing that 2-1. So I'm not going to get ahead of myself, but really good work. Again, from us on the wide area. This time it's Harry Wilson with it as he finds the cut back, and there is Lerma arriving on it, justifying why I've put him into the team today ahead of Lewis Cook, because I could have actually put Lewis still in this team, but I decided no, after that pre-match press conference, Lerma was asked about, I'll give him the start, and he has scored the opening goal here at the Amex after 18 minutes. Great work though from Harry Wilson, sets it up, gets in. Kelly up towards King. King's going to let Fraser through, and now Ryan Fraser again on the wide area where we scored the opener. Fraser continuing into the box. Look at the pass back for Josh King. King! And it's 2-0 Bournemouth. A carbon copy of the first one. King starts the move off with the pass to Fraser. And we just drive again down this left-hand side this time. Again in the wide area. And then we just wait, because you can see King. He just holds his run, says, I'll have it back. Maddison maybe there put off the goalkeeper a little bit. So if he was offside, that might have been a case for Brighton, but nothing given. And Joshua King scores for the first time today, and he gets his 14th of the season. He's not scored for quite a few games, and actually Harry Kane has moved in front of him again, but I believe that goal now pulls them back on level terms. Unless, of course, Harry Kane has scored again since I last checked it. But 2-0 Bournemouth, the 5 at the back curse. Surely we're going to break it here after we now have our second goal. Here is Maddison, now towards Lerma. Lerma has got Calvin Phillips just in front. There's Phillips, great touch. Calvin Phillips! Oh, it deserves a finish. Ryan's made a good save there. Great work, though, from Calvin Phillips. Look at this for a run. Tries to go to the net. Oh, that's a brilliant save, actually. That is a very, very good save. Matty Ryan, I take my hat off to you, mate, because that was brilliant. Maddison with the corner then. What can we do from this one? Swings it in. Out comes Ryan and punches it. And I think that's going to be it. No, Lerma wins the header back in. Ake finds Harry Wilson. Wilson takes it in his stride, but it's a good tackle from Solly March. And that's going to be the end of the attack. Here is Maddison. Oh, what a touch from James Maddison. And now he continues. Quick 1-2 maybe with King. Maddison gets it back and continues in towards the box. James Maddison still has it. Deserves a goal. He's not going to get it. Oh my goodness, what a run. What a run from Maddison. And unfortunately, there's not an end product of a goal for him. I think Ryan got a touch. Yes, he did. So it's going to be a corner. 9 minutes to play, but Maddison deserved a goal for that run there, as it's unfortunately not panned out that way. Lerma picks it up, now finds the ball out wide towards Steve Cook. Cook in towards the feet of Harry Wilson. Allowed to turn, but there's no real pass forward. You can see all of the Brighton bodies still in the box. Lerma, now Maddison again, allowed maybe to turn. Still has it, Maddison. Great stuff from James Maddison, trying to pull it back. King is there. 3-0 Bournemouth. You could see it was kind of coming. And that is brilliant from James Maddison again. Do you know what? I said this before, didn't I? Talking about the problems that we have in terms of team selection, because when you've got Wilson and King playing the way they are, it's keeping Maddison out of the team. But when he comes in and does stuff like this, you're questioning why he's out of the team. 4 minutes to go, 3-0 Bournemouth. A much better performance here in this game than we've shown in the first two. I've got no complaints at all with the way we played here at the Amex. First two games, the first one we were poor. Although we won it 3-0, we didn't really play to our strengths, and that's poor from Maddison this time. And then after that, Arsenal, we had basically 3 chances. We did well enough to keep them behind, but yeah, we weren't fantastic in that game either. But here today, faultless for me. No problems at all. Defended brilliantly, created chances. Hang on a second, I don't want to lose the clean sheet right here. And Steve Cook puts it behind, but it's going to be a corner ball. Let's not concede right now then, as this will surely be the last kick of the game. Sent in towards the box. King underneath it, heads it out, referee. I'm quite happy for it to end there, and there it is. Brighton 0, Bournemouth 3. 3 out of 3 wins today. Very, very happy with that. Lerma is continuing his hot run of form. How satisfied are you with his performance today? Scored the opening goal, of course. Let's say, don't get carried away. Let's not get carried away. Still have a long road ahead of us. He performed well today, but it takes a lot of hard work to keep up this momentum until the end of the season. And to be fair, he hasn't played that many games. Remarkable performance by King today. Remarkable Joshua King. That's the word I'd use to describe him. Remarkable. He is insane for us. An impressive performance from King, as always, because he seems to just keep putting them in. You dealt a strong blow to your rival today. Did you prepare differently for this match? Rival? Interesting. We were primed and ready. All matches are equally important. All matches are equally important. Rivalry or not, we train and prepare for every match the same. We never allow our opponents to dictate our preparation. And actually, I've just realised, rivalry, isn't it? Because they're both down on the south coast. So, yeah, now it makes sense. That's why it's a rivalry. I was going to say, I thought they meant rivalry as in, like, of position in the league. But they actually meant, of course, because both teams are down on the south coast of England. So, yeah, rivalry for that. I just had a brain fart, basically. As we enter January, the transfer window is now open. So before we go today, I'm going to take a quick look at our squad so you can see the report. We'll take a look as well at how people are progressing. So let's go to attributes first. And let's quickly run through. So Butland has gone up by 1. He's now 79 rated. You can kind of pause it on who you want to see a bit more of. I'm going to show you the important ones and what stats have gone up for the important players as I scroll through this. Ake up by 1 as well. Jack Stacey up by 4 at the moment, but he is in our training, so that's pretty much the reason why. So good growth from him. Lerma up by 1. Phillips up by 1. Danjuma up by 1. Fraser up by 2 now. 83 rated. Gone up in terms of physicals and also in technical, and he's not been trained by me, so that's purely from game time, that. Same with Lewis Cook. Actually, no, he was in my training, wasn't he, for a little bit, but yeah, up by 2 as well. Philip Billing up by 2. Not trained him at all. That's purely off of growth. And he hasn't played that many games, so I don't really know where his growth is coming from. Madison up by 2 to a 81 rated player. Quite ridiculous to see that too. That's purely off of game time. Brooks up by 3, but we were training him previously, so that's why. Dylan up by 7 at the moment into a 63 rated player. You can see what stats we've grown on him so far. Wilson up by 1, King up by 1, Wilson up by 1 again, this time Callum Wilson, Abraham growing by 1, Solanke up by 2, and I think that's it for the team. So, yeah, it's going well, isn't it, so far in this one? We are overperforming pretty much more than anybody expected. Currently sits second in the league, a point behind Manchester United, who seem to now be finding form. We've scored the most out of any team in the competition, but we're second in the goals conceded charts behind Manchester United. So, yeah, we need to try and improve on that front. In terms of top scorers, I believe we are actually a joint top. Yes, Joshua King and Harry Kane both on 15 after 19 league games. Dwight Gale doing well for Newcastle in there as well with 10. We've also got Wilson on 7. Anybody else to mention? Not really. In terms of assists, though, Callum Wilson has that with 8. Which is pretty good as well. Butland with the most clean sheets. And actually, I think as well, we've got a cup game coming up. So the draw must have been made for the FA Cup now as well. Who are we facing in the the third round, I should say, of that? We are going to be playing against... We're not there. We're not there. We're not there. And we're not... Wait, where are we? Wait, where are we? Have I missed something here? Wait, Arsenal have got Man United in round 3. What a draw that is immediately off the bat. There we are, Bournemouth Stoke. I was looking for AFC Bournemouth. But yeah, we've got Stoke in round 3 of the FA Cup. So that's quite a nice draw. Is there any other interesting ones in there? Liverpool-Watford, quite a tasty one as well. Leeds-Bristol City. Who else? Not really anybody else. Man City-Everton, I guess. So yeah, Arsenal-Man United is definitely the one that looks to be the one to watch. But that's going to do us for today's episode. If you have enjoyed it, a like would be greatly appreciated. A massive thank you for all of the support on the channel as always. If you are new around here, like what you see, hit that subscribe button down below. And I'll see you all again with the January transfer window next episode very, very soon. Until then, have a great evening, have a great day. Catch you all again soon. Adios.